Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the final exam, which will open up here pretty soon in the next week. Doing this check-in a little bit early to give you time to prepare for that exam. The exam's really important. If you knock it out of the park, you could pretty much rest assured that you're going to get a good grade in the class. So, just to talk a little bit about the final exam, there's some key terms that you want to know. Now, if you look in the course content announcement page and you scroll down, there's a lot of terms there. All those terms are really, really important to take a look at and to know. So, from the perspective of what's on the final exam, let's just do a quick run through of some key terms you need to know. Beneficence is one, and some of these are going to be on that list that I talked about. Some might not, so make sure you review this video. Know what misdemeanors are. Also know what torts are and felonies, torts, felonies, and misdemeanors. So know about, standard of care. What is standard of care? That's a really important thing. What are patients' rights in regards to their health care? What rights do patients have within health care? What about the 4Ds? So duty, dereliction of duty, direct cause, and damages. Make sure you know what each of those are. And I'm looking and making sure that I don't miss anything for you guys. Know about federal laws versus state laws. Know the comparison and why they're important. Also know about the medical record. Who owns the medical record? So there's a lot of debate about this. I'm just going to tell you it is not the patient. The patient has access, but whoever crafts the medical record does. If it's a private practice, it's going to be the physician who's the owner. Know about JCAHO. What does JCAHO have guidelines for? What about theories? Utilitarianism, duty-based ethics, rights-based ethics, and justice-based ethics. Those are all important. We already talked about assault and battery. Know the difference between the two. What is respondeat superior? What does that mean? Respondeat superior. Know about informed consent and implied consent. There's a couple of questions that are going to be repeated. So from the perspective of you've seen the term before, and there might be a few questions on it. Let's see here. So a lot of questions about medical records, some questions about HIPAA as well. Make sure you're aware of HIPAA and what that means. Let's see. What about Good Samaritan laws? What are Good Samaritan laws? I know we talked about that a lot. Know what a living will is. Also know about OSHA. We talked about OSHA. Make sure you're aware of OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Ethical standards in regards to health care set by the medical professional, right? What is civil law versus criminal law? Know the difference between civil and criminal law. Know the age of maturity. When is the age of maturity, right? It's 18. Most of you know that, but make sure you know the age of maturity. Know about negligence. We've talked about negligence. How about COBRA, the Fair Labor Standards Act, and FLSA? Make sure you know what those terms are. Privileged communication. What is privileged communication? Let's see. Non-malfeasance. Make sure you know what non-malfeasance is. What about fraud? Make sure you know what fraud is. We already talked about the consents, informed and implied consent. Mediation and arbitration. What are those two things, mediation and arbitration? We talked about litigation, right? There's differences between mediation, arbitration, and litigation. Let's see. Lots of true or false. You're going to see a lot of true or false. Lots of repeated questions. Not the same question, but the same kind of question about the term. I'm going to go through a little bit more for you. So I'm going through the book here just to make sure I have an awareness from the book's perspective. Talk about medical records. Talk about autonomy. Maybe we haven't. Autonomy. Make sure you know what autonomy is. I'm not sure if we went over that at the beginning of this video. So the majority of this is going to be multiple choice. And sorry I had so many gaps between talking there. False imprisonment and defamation. Those are two other terms you need to know. False imprisonment and defamation. So there is a total of 68 questions. 68 total questions. And a lot of it's going to be repeated from exam 1 and exam 2. I cannot reopen those exams again, but you should go back and watch the reviews that I did. And then you also should go back and look at those terms that I posted. So more information coming soon about when the final exam will be ready, but make sure you study this after you finish exam 2, so over the weekend and on Monday, and then as soon as the final exams open, I'll put an announcement in the announcement page. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. This will be on Lockdown Browser as well. So be prepared, be ready for the exam, and I'm sure you'll do great. I appreciate all that you're doing, and if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much.